Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Night of Champions. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Sorry, I'm Jaleel. Like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Night of Champions, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I will greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, this show was actually looking very promising. One, we had 6 matches, which to me, I think really benefited the show quite a bit. I don't feel like any match felt like filler for the most part. I do think one match suffered in this one, and that was the Jade Cargill versus Asuka match. I feel like it ran pretty short, and this was a night that was filled with abrupt endings. I mean, the Cody and Randy match had a little bit of an abrupt ending. I think we'd agree with that. Karrion versus Sammy, I think, also had a little bit of an abrupt ending, and then Jade versus Asuka had an abrupt ending as well. Solo and Jacob, kind of, but not really, because again, once you saw Hikuleo show up or Tungaloa show up, I was pretty happy to see him again. The ending kind of became clear, but those 3 matches in particular, I'm just like, well, that kind of came out of nowhere. But Jade and Asuka, especially with how Jade is, do we really want to see Jade go 20 plus minutes? Me personally, I wouldn't mind it. I think she can do it now, but I know she is like a special attraction. She's like Brock. She's like Brock Lesnar, where you're there to see her, hit her big moves and really showcase her strengths, and then that's it. 1, 2, 3. Well, maybe not Brock, because Brock can go long sometimes. Maybe she's more of a Goldberg in that way, but I don't know. It just really felt like that match never fully hit second gear to me. I do think, I want Asuka to win because I think that is a good SummerSlam match, Asuka versus Io Sky. And right now we are having Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill, which I do hope it stays. Granted, these title matches aren't confirmed or anything yet because we still have Evolution around the corner, which, God, I hope we really start to focus up a lot more on in these next coming weeks, because it's in 2 weeks, and we need to. They say they want to fill up 7 matches, and right now we only have 1 confirmed, and that is Jordan Grace versus oh crap, what's her name? That's the current women's champion. But yeah, we only have 1 match confirmed so far. I know we were supposed to do Nikki Bella versus Liv Morgan, or maybe the Bella Twins versus Liv and Raquel, or maybe Nikki and Rhea. But I'm pretty sure now, especially with how the street fight ended, how they made it the point that Rhea wants her baby back. I'm pretty sure the main event of Evolution will be Rhea versus Io Sky, and who wins that one, I don't fully know. It just depends on what we're going to do at SummerSlam. But yeah, Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton, I would keep it that way. It was going to be interesting to see who's Tiffany's opponent. Maybe Bianca Belair is finally cleared, and maybe she can be in the match. But it's going to be really interesting to see moving forward, because I really do like the added element of Naomi wants to cash in on Tiffany, because Tiffany is the reason why Naomi couldn't win the title as a face. But there's also that history between her and Jade. So overall, I think the right person won, because again, who knows how Evolution is going to go. Maybe Rhea's going to get the title back. It's pretty hard to argue against that situation, since Io is kind of just hanging out. Granted, all the world titles are all the titles, really, not just the world titles, are kind of just hanging out and just going, okay, yeah, I guess we'll do a title match. But yeah, it was a fun match, Jade versus Asuka, for what it was. It just never really hit quite into second gear for me. And again, I think the ending just came off a little bit abrupt to me personally. But yeah, I do hope it stays Tiffany versus Jade at SummerSlam, because I think there's a lot of intrigue within that storyline, especially with Naomi waffling around with the briefcase. It would be really, really interesting to see. As for the King of the Ring match, I think Randy and Cody did a great job. I like the old school mentality that they went through it. I like the selling of the back. I honestly thought maybe Randy was using that to make Cody feel bad, if you will, because he said he is willing to do whatever it takes to get this win, and maybe there was some mental manipulation there, oh, my back. But now, re-watching it, I do think, no, that was part of the story, is that his back was hurt, because also Cody was going into the back too quite a bit. That was really interesting to see. I know there's been the talk of the Cody heel turn. I think it's too soon for it. I think we do need to get to 42 maybe 43 we can start discussing it more heavily. But I think it'll be a dumb decision to turn Cody Rhodes heel right now, because there is literally no one there that could really step up to take that top spot. Maybe a Jey Uso, maybe a Sami Zayn, but I don't know if they're at that level of a Cody Rhodes, if you know what I mean. But that was a very fun match too. I like how it came across down to the ring. I cannot think of it. The ring buckle, the ring buckle, ripping it off, and again, Orton was willing to do whatever it takes. Hesitate on the punt, and you got to think that's going to come back around. If I don't hesitate on the punt, then I get you. And then it's kind of like the callback to the Kevin Owens thing, right? Kevin Owens got hurt with the knee, and Cody Rhodes hesitated, but yet he was still able to get the win. Randy didn't hesitate, and yet Randy hesitated, and then that's what cost him, and then that's going to cause the heel turn, because he looked pissed off after that match. He did not want to shake Cody's hand. He walked away. He looked so angry. He had that devilish look in his eye. It's going to be a really fun time in the back half of 2025 with these two clashing throughout. Hell, man, give them 4 pay-per-views, man. Make it a split 2 and 2. Maybe give Randy the title a little bit. I don't need to see constant long title reigns right now. I think we do need to mix it up a little bit. But a very fun match between the two. Cody Rhodes moves on. He will face John Cena. I think his next appearance is July 18th, which is post Saturday's main event. So yeah, it's basically a lock that it is going to be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Some people say, hey, we got to keep Punk and Orton involved. I don't think so, because if Orton gets involved, then that devalues the whole final of the King of the Ring and how important that match is. So I don't want Orton involved. Yes, is that Fatal 4-Way a dream match? Absolutely. But I think, especially with what we did in the main event, where Cena's about to become a good guy again. Like, it's very apparent that he is about to become the good guy again. That we do need to keep it one-on-one. And maybe this is the time where Cena goes, no, I will face you head on. I will be clean. And I will do that hustle, loyalty, and respect. And then, we'll move on. And then we'll hit the greatest hits for the final back half of the whole entire run. But yeah, good match between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. The street fight, to me, was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it. Very inventive final spot with the Riptide onto the table. I'm surprised the table didn't break, because you saw the table. It was bending all the way through. I was like, oh, man, these girls need to be careful. Hits the Riptide. I think this was Raquel's best performance. Not since the main roster, because that's unfair. But this was her best showing that I have seen of her ever since she has been in this current state that she has been in within the heel run. Now, what do we do here? Again, I think Rhea Ripley is moving on to the Women's World title. We're finally going to hit that full throttle, because, again, the announcers kept making the point of Rhea runs her baby back, Rhea runs her baby back, even on the, and I'm not talking about ribs, but she wants... But also on her interview before, where Rhea is talking about, like, I'm sick of fans saying Rhea shouldn't want the title. If I don't want the title, what am I doing here? Because, yeah, if you're going to play it real, your goal should be to win belts all the time. Like in a real UFC fight, when Conor McGregor had 2 belts, and now everyone was like, oh, Conor's overpushed. No, that's not the case. Granted, it's a different world, but within the characters, it's real, right? Like, kayfabe, I know kayfabe is basically dead, but within kayfabe, the character Rhea Ripley is going to want titles. So therefore, yeah, she's going to want to continue to face Io. And, that'd be a good main event, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. I don't know what other match could be bigger. I don't know who Tiffany Stratton could face that could go toe-to-toe with that within it. But, yeah, Rhea Ripley's going to go after Io. Raquel will go back to, hey, Roxanne, thank you for helping me. I'll let you be my tag team partner. And then I don't know what we do with Nikki Bella. Maybe Nikki Bella faces Tiffany Stratton. Maybe they saw the crowd reaction and said, you know what? Let's move you over to SmackDown. We'll have you face off with Tiffany, and you could be a good little heel, or maybe Tiffany works a little bit more heel on that. I don't know, because Tiffany's personality's still there. There's a lot of uncertainty with the whole Liv Morgan injury that happened. But, again, good street fight nonetheless. I would assume Roxanne goes back to tag division. Hopefully the tag division is actually in play now with Roxanne as her partner. And then, of course, Rhea can go back to Io, and Io can be on TV more than 5 seconds every single week. Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn was fun. I think the wrong person won. I think Karrion needed to win, but I get it. if the plan is to do Sammy versus Gunther at SummerSlam, because after Saturday night's main event, we need to hit the SummerSlam button pretty fast, right? So I maybe that is the matchup. Does Sammy win it at SummerSlam? I don't know, but we are really hitting the storyline of Sammy can never win a world title pretty hard. He's now beating Karrion Kross. I don't know how you can justify another match between Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. That was my thing. I have no problem with Sami Zayn winning the feud. But, I think we could have got a good 3 matches out of it. And, we could have done, Karrion Kross wins here. Sami Zayn gets his rematch on a random brawl. And then, at Saturday night's main event, or round 2's at Saturday night's main event, then we get round 3 on a random brawl, then, Sami Zayn moves on. And then, here we are. And we still get to where we're going. But, yeah, Sami Zayn won. Again, a little bit of abrupt ending because he goes, you lie, you lie, you lie. And then he goes to run. Sami Zayn hits the haluva kick from out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Fun match. I just think the wrong person won, to me, personally. Then after that, we already talked about Jade versus Asuka, but that was match 5. Match 4 was the U.S. title match. We talked about it a little bit already. Solo versus Jacob. I don't get why people hate Solo. He was cracking me up through this whole entire match. He was doing the whole the taunt that Jacob Fatu does to mimic him. Jacob did a really good job with it. Again, Tangaloa coming back out. Hikuleo making his debut with a new name that I cannot remember off the top of my head. I really thought Tama Tonga was about to pop up too, and then Bloodline 3.0 was going to be out full force. But yeah, Solo Sikoa winning the belt was probably the right choice, and Jacob getting it back at SummerSlam. It extends the feud. It does not look like we're going to do Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu at SummerSlam, which is fine. Again, I would assume this Saturday night's main event card is going to be freaking stacked with how they want to compete with AEW All In. So you got Goldberg and Gunther headlining the other 4 matches. Maybe you do a Punk versus Rollins again, especially with what happened within the main event. But yeah, I wouldn't mind Jacob and Solo round 2 in there as well. And then you get the rubber match at SummerSlam. It could be a lot of fun. It could. I'm enjoying the feud. Is what I'm trying to say, and I enjoyed the match. I enjoy Solo's work. I mean, if you saw him on the post show, he had one of the funniest lines ever, where the crowd started yeeting to him, and Jackie was like, "What do you think about them yeeting?" He goes, "What is it? 4 letters, 1 word? Stop!" And then he did his little head thing. He cracks me up. He is so funny. I want to have a beer with Solo so bad because he just cracks me up, man. He is hilarious. And he deserves this U.S. title. It could be a short run, but hey, it is what it is. I had a good time with it. Jacob's going to win it back. It's going to be no problem there. But yeah, it was a very fun U.S. title match. But the main event between John Cena and CM Punk, which won this crowd. The crowd came alive for 2 matches. It was Randy versus Solo. Not Randy versus Solo. Randy versus Cody. And the crowd was going nuts with the lights and all that, and Punk and Cena, when they were doing just classic wrestling at first, and the people were going crazy with the lights, the crowd added a lot of atmosphere to this match, man, and I was really enjoying for what it was. It was a bit of a slower pace. We all knew that going in, but I also really liked the story elements that we added within this match as well. Cena hitting 3 AAs, which was too much. It was too much, especially when he goes back to being a good guy. I would assume maybe he loses out as a babyface, which I don't fully love. He can lose the last match, but he should win some of the others as well. But, hits 3 AAs, Punk keeps kicking out, and Cena's like, "That's it! I'm going back to the title! I'm going to hit him with it!" And he gets to grab it, and the crowd's like, "No, Cena, don't do it! Don't do it! This isn't you, Cena!" And he actually drops the title. I was like, oh, that was a good little beat. And then, of course, he starts to hit the shoulder tackles, like, oh, he's doing the good guy moves. And then the ref bumps, and we go, God dang it, here comes Seth Rollins coming out. Punk fights them off for a little bit. And then, here comes the referee, which I don't know why Seth didn't come out with the referee. But it was a nice little callback to the Money in the Bank spot, too, where Vince sent John Laurinaitis to go take out the... go ring the bell, and then Cena clotheslines him. But god dang, Cena laid out Charles Robinson, man. That was a hell of a bump that man took. Gets in, fights with Seth Rollins, but wait, there's more, because then Rollins and group starts jumping on Cena. There's going to be a tsunami on John, and then here comes Penta to save the day. But not before he does his walk. That also cracked me up quite a bit. All right, I'm here to save the day, but I'm going to get my stuff in. Let me do my smooth operator. Starts running down, gets beat up, and then here comes Sami Zayn. They start fighting. Penta jumps off. That takes out Braun. Then here comes Punk. He's alive again. Pushes him off. Cena ducks out of the way. Gives Bronson Reed a AA, which... If you, he did an interview recently, I think it was on the Breakfast Club, where he was like, look, I just can't lift as much as I can. So the fact that he was still able to lift 300 plus pounds to hit that AA, Punk and Cena, they make up, handshake, give a little hug, but then the dark side starts to consume John again. He does that faint stare into the camera, goes for the kick in the nuts. Punk defends it, goes for the win. Stomp from Seth Rollins out of nowhere. Cena gets the cover. Ref is comes alive again. 1, 2, 3. Boom, we're done. I loved it. I loved every single second of it. I know a lot of people are like, I'm tired of these finishes. Oh, man, keep bringing them on, man. WWE does it like no one else. I absolutely love that. Now Cena can just focus on Cody. Punk goes back to Seth. Again, I would assume we probably do the final chapter at Saturday Night's Main Event because we do need to stack that show up as much as possible. Then maybe Roman returns at that point, or an LA Knight, because I know SummerSlam is probably going to be LA Knight versus Seth Rollins, or maybe LA Knight versus Braun Breaker, and Roman is safe for Seth Rollins, because he's still being promoted for SummerSlam, because after SummerSlam, then he has to go film a movie. So I would assume maybe SummerSlam is going to be his only other PLE that he works. But yeah, Roman's going to be coming back pretty soon. We all thought it was going to be tonight. I mean, the crowd was chanting OTC. But man, that overbooked mess, and I say that complimentary, was a lot of fun. And I also like the stuff that we did with just Punk and Cena quite a bit. The face turn is about to come back alive. Maybe we use these 3 weeks that Cena's using it for a lot of reflection, and this is how he says sorry. But of course, no one believes him, and then it's just about trying to earn that respect back from the fans and from his colleagues as well. It's a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. But yeah, now that Night of Champions is over, we got Raw and SmackDown both coming to us on Monday. Well, SmackDown will be pre-taped. We'll get that Friday later on. But, let's get that full focus to Evolution. Let's make that show as successful as it possibly can be due to the circumstances. And let's boast up Saturday Night's Main Event. And then, of course, let's go full throttle into the biggest SummerSlam ever, the first ever 2 nights. I'm looking forward to it. I have a lot of excitement and a lot of optimistic views when it comes to WWE right now, because I just do feel like they are in full focus mode, and I think I am one of the outliners for that. But let me know what y'all think of it down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made it this far within the review. I do greatly appreciate it. And again, hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.